Have you ever noticed how we tell the same story in different ways depending on the audience for the story? For instance, we shape stories about ourselves one way on a resume, another way in a website bio, one way on a Facebook post, another way in an Instagram story, one way to our teachers, another way to our therapists, one way to our children, another way to a friend, and yet another way to the voice within that always sees the truth beneath the truth. Now, each of those stories has a purpose and an objective that influences the way that we tell the story. Our intentions affect the words that we choose and the things that we highlight. Yet each of those stories is real, even though the stories don't match. And while each of the stories doesn't offer the whole story, the overarching message is still Wendy. This is kind of what it's like in the Bible. There are many threads, many themes, many players, many witnesses, and many different ways that all of those people in all of those stories engaged with God and got transformed by that interaction. And yet, the big story, the overarching story, is one very real, very present, very transformative story. And that, dearly beloved, is the story of God's love. It's the reason for all the stories. It's the purpose of the whole book. Love and the loving relationship that God seeks to have with us. Love and the beloved community that God wants us to create with our neighbors. Love and, of course, the forgiveness and grace that God promises through love incarnate. Now, I suspect you're likely rolling your eyes right now or scrolling away from this 1 minute word because shit, seriously, Rev, love? It's been a really tough week. Sorry for my French there. Like, COVID is everywhere, mutating and becoming more contagious, and most of us are weeks away from a vaccination. And then insurrection, division, exhaustion, and now impeachment. Yeah, it has been a really tough week after a really tough year. And still, there are stories of hope. There is evidence of transformation. And the witness of love, it's everywhere if that's what you're looking for, if that's the story you tell, and if that is your intention. It's kind of like the Velveteen Rabbit. You know this story, the threadbare, discarded nursery relic saved from peril by the boundless love of a child. The Velveteen Rabbit, made real by being loved. God's love is made real by the boundless love of God's people. If we are love, then love is made real. If we are love, then God is made real. Love always wins. I promise. I pray that you might know that this week, like every week, God, who loves us unceasingly, has already come to be with us. And God's love that transforms our broken hearts, our fearful spirits, and our weary minds and bodies, one love story at a time. My friends, to hear last week's sermons on the many stories that we tell, click on the link below and join us this Sunday at 10:30 for worship and more love stories, because everybody needs a little sanctuary. See you soon.